Greetings everyone, thank you for coming to my channel. In this video you'll be learning about the difference or differences between either and neither. Do you guys say either and neither, or do you say either and neither? I guess it just depends on the day for me. Yesterday I was on the phone with my best friend. Shout out to my best friend. Hey sis! So we were talking about something that involved the word pinch, but I kept on saying pinch because that's the way I say it, and that's the way people I know say it. And she was like, wait a minute, why do you keep on saying pinch? And I was like, isn't that the way you say it? And she was like, no, it's pinch. And so I started saying pinch. And I was like, that sounds weird. I think I'm going to stick to pinch for a while. But yeah, the whole point of me mentioning that is because I want to know if you guys have certain words that you've been pronouncing wrong for years or maybe months, and then one day somebody pointed it out to you like, hey, that's not the way you say that. Like my best friend also told me that pilaf is pronounced pilaf. I don't know if it's rice or whatever it is, but it's a type of food. But I was like, that's how you pronounce that? This whole time in my head I've been saying palif. And the same for oregano. No, I think it's pronounced oregano, but I've been saying oregano in my head this whole time. Okay, let me get to the video. Either or either has multiple uses. It's used when agreeing with a negative statement. It's used when someone approves of any of two options or one or the other. And it's used with or when someone is talking about two options. Either or either being used when agreeing with negative statements. So our first example says, I don't like scary movies. And one would respond with, I don't either. This is someone agreeing with the negative statement, I don't like scary movies. Our second example says, I'm not going to school today. And one would respond with, I won't be going either. This is someone agreeing with the negative statement, I'm not going to school today. And our third example says, I don't know how to swim, and one would respond with, me either. So this is someone agreeing with the negative statement, I don't know how to swim. Either or either being used when someone approves of any of the two options. Or they could just be referring to any of the two options. So our first example says, does either or either of you know where I put my purse? So this person is asking, does either of the two people know where they put their purse? And the reason why I said they is because I don't know if it's a he or a she. Example 2 says, either or either of you can help me bring the groceries inside. So when we say either of you can help me bring the groceries inside, we mean either of the two people. And our last example says, you can hang either of these paintings on my wall. So we're referring to two paintings. So you can hang this painting on my wall, or you can hang that painting on my wall. Next we have either or either being used with or when we're talking about two options. So our first example says, either you want pancakes for breakfast or you want eggs for breakfast. So notice how we're talking about two options. Our second example says, tomorrow at the gym, I'll either jump rope or run on the treadmill. Notice how we're talking about two options, either jump roping or running on the treadmill. And our last example says, either you want to be my friend or you don't. Again, notice how we're referring to two options, you being my friend or you not being my friend. Which one is it? So don't get this use of either confused with the use of either in the previous slide. So in this case, we're using either when we're referring to two options. In the previous slide, we're using either when we approve of one of two options. So be sure to remember that. Next, we have neither or neither, which also has multiple uses. It's used when agreeing with a negative statement. It's used when someone doesn't approve of both options. And it's used with nor when someone is making a negative statement about two things. Neither or neither being used when agreeing with the negative statement. So our first example says, I won't be attending the event tomorrow. And one would respond with, neither will I. And this person is agreeing with the negative statement. Example 2 says, I don't like his attitude, and one would respond with, neither do I. This is a person agreeing with the negative statement, I don't like his attitude. And our third example says, I don't like driving when it's dark outside. And one would respond with, me neither. And this person is agreeing with the negative statement, I don't like driving when it's dark outside. Neither or neither being used when someone doesn't approve of both options. So our first example says, do you want spaghetti or lasagna for dinner? And one would respond with, neither, I already ate. Or neither, I already ate. So this means that the person doesn't approve of spaghetti or lasagna. They decline both options. Example 2 says, would you like to meet up on Tuesday or Friday? And one would respond with, neither or neither of those days work for me. And example 3 says, I bought you spicy chips and sweet chips. Which ones do you prefer? And one would respond with, neither or neither, I don't like chips. Neither or neither being used with nor when making a negative statement about two things. Our first example says, neither Amy nor Tammy showed up to the potluck. Notice how we use neither and nor. Our second example says, I was neither listening nor paying attention during the meeting. Notice how we use neither and nor. And our third example says, at dinner, my friend ate neither her steak nor her rice. Notice how we use neither and nor. Remember not to use double negatives. So what is a double negative? So let's look at our first example. It says, Sharon didn't invite neither John nor Quan. So we already use neither and nor, so we don't need to use didn't. So the correct way of writing this sentence will be, Sharon invited neither John nor Quan. There's actually a couple of ways to write this sentence. So if you wanted to just rewrite the whole sentence, you could say, Sharon didn't invite John or Quan. That's another way of saying it. Or you could say, Sharon invited neither John nor Quan. Which sounds kind of strange, but I didn't make the rules of English, so I'm going to just go with the flow. Our second example says, I don't listen to neither classical music nor hip-hop music. So we don't need to use the word don't, because if we use don't and neither and nor, that makes it a double negative. So the correct way of saying this would be, I listen to neither classical music nor hip-hop music. Or another way of saying this would be, I don't listen to classical music or hip-hop music. And our last example says, I don't eat neither candy nor ice cream. The correct way of saying this would be, I eat neither candy nor ice cream. Or we could just say, I don't eat candy or ice cream. So basically, when you use neither and nor, you're already making the sentence negative, so there's no need to add an extra negative in the sentence. Both either and neither are acceptable to use when agreeing with negative statements. So one could either say, I won't be at the graduation party, and one could respond with, me neither. Or one could say, I won't be at the graduation party, and one could respond with, me either. Thank you guys for coming. I hope you found this video informative. If you did find this video informative, please feel free to like, comment, or subscribe, or all of the above, and I'll see you next time.